How's it going, everybody? It is Tuesday. Hopefully you had a good MLK day. Hopefully that you, if you played the all-day slates, you did well. If you watched that Golden State-Cleveland game, what a game that was. Houston against the Clippers at night, what a game that was. Whole lot of drama. The NBA is as hot as it's ever been in a daily fantasy NBA. Just as hot here on a 4-game slate on a Tuesday. There is a small tournament, a $10 tournament with $100K to first place. So let's see what we can do to go about kind of looking at this slate from a first look perspective. Picking out 3 values that I think are at least pertinent at this time of the day. It is only 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. Lineups lock at 4 p.m. this afternoon. So there's a lot of time for value to come out, for injuries to happen, for us to have a better viewpoint of what the slate is going to look like by the time lineups lock. So as always, be at your workstation 30 minutes before lock so that you can be there to digest all of the news, so you can be nimble and pivot to wherever the new value gets, because the NBA is the wild, wild west with injury reporting. That's just the way that the game is played. It's different from MLB. It's different from NFL. You don't have the inactives. You don't have all the injury reporting. So you have to be ready even right up to and until lineups lock. In the last 2 minutes, something can come out. So you need to be at your workstations so that you can figure out what happens. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for finding the channel. Please click that subscribe button. We're approaching 4,500 subscribers on YouTube. Very proud of that number, and you guys have been the ones to make that happen. So thank you very much for the continued support. And click that like button. Let's see if we can get about 250 likes on this before lineups lock today on this 4-game slate. Let's get right to it. Let's take a look at what we got here on this slate. You see the 4 games: Minnesota, Orlando, New Orleans against Boston in Boston, Dallas and Denver, and Phoenix at Portland. So as always, I like to look at my top 3 values, or at least 3 values that I think will allow me to build around the stars that I want to build around on the day. And it's an odd morning for me, at least from a first look perspective, because all the values on Dallas, right? I mean, there are some other value plays on the board that I can look to, that I can go to, but there's just enough on Dallas that this is where I want to start. Starting at power forward, Dwight Powell. There's a little bit of risk in this one, but he is an extreme value at under 4K, 3,600. We really need about 18 to 21 points out of him for him to achieve and pay off this salary. Last game, he played 30 minutes against the Lakers. We've seen him play 23, down to 12, 14. He essentially averages 18 minutes a game, but there's a lot of variance between those minutes. If we've got an injury, if you think that he's going to outplay the starter like he did in the last game, I tend to think that they're going to start riding him a little bit more with as efficient as he's been, with the points that he's been scoring recently. You see when he gets up into the high 20s or low 30s, he smashes value at this price. So yes, there's some risk involved that he might put up a 12 fantasy point day and miss value for you by 8 points, but the amount that he can open up for you in salary at the high end, to me, at least at this point as a first look, is worth the risk, knowing that if he's going to get 25 to 30 minutes, which is kind of where I have him projected right now in the morning, he's somebody that I want to have in my lineups to at least open up the amount of value that I need. Another guy on Dallas that's been playing a ton of minutes with JJ Barea out has been Yogi Ferrell. 33, 36, 43 minutes for somebody that's 4,500, looking for 26 fantasy points from him. He's exceeded that in all 3 of the games that he's played thus far. Somehow he's rebounding, which, great. That just seems like a bonus for me, right? I'm not rostering Yogi Ferrell so that he can rebound, but he is a good scorer, gets shots up, which is very important. Highest correlation between real life and fantasy scoring is the ability to put the ball in the bucket. The more shots you take, the more opportunities you have to do that. He was extremely efficient the first 2 games, right? We're not going to count on 70 and 66% shooting from Yogi Ferrell moving forward. Last game, 35% from the field, still scored 33 fantasy points. If he's going to take between 10 and 14 shots a night, he's somebody that I think you have to be in on. I don't think he's going to get up to 14. I think between 9 and 12 is fair to expect from shots. I think that over 30 minutes is fair to expect in terms of playing time from Yogi. 4,500 just too cheap. I'm going to plug him into shooting guard. And then Dennis Smith Jr., kind of the engine that makes that entire team go. Again, with Barea out, we see his minutes jump up. On the season, averaging 28 minutes a game. Over the last 3 games, sitting in the mid-30s. So you're getting extra minutes at a price tag that hasn't come up enough yet. Before the minutes increase, he was at 6,400, 6,300. And now with the minutes increase, he's at 6,300. So he's still priced as a 28-minute-a-game guy, but he's playing 34, 35 minutes a night. Tremendous scoring ability, taking a ton of shots, Very electric player. Should chip in a little bit more in the rebound and assist categories, I would assume and I would hope. At 6,300, he allows me to do the things that I need to do on this short slate. Now, getting to a couple of the stud plays that I like tonight. I know that this one's going to draw a lot of disdain from the chat. I know that for sure. I know it, and I don't care. Because I'm going right back to the well. One of my favorite players in the league to play in daily fantasy. You know what you're going to get from him. The only variance for him is in the points category. Yes, I know that I need him to score points. When he does score points, he's a triple-double waiting to happen. Double-double almost assured, averaging 10 rebounds on the season. He hasn't had one in 2 games. Very efficient shooter when he gets inside. His points have fluctuated a lot recently if you look at his game log. 23, 14, I mean points on court points, not fantasy points. His fantasy points are somewhat tied to his ability to score on court points. That's where you're going to get his massive games, right? 23, 14, 9, 22, 8, 8, 14, 19, 22. Should score closer to his average or above it this evening against Dallas's front court. I like this situation for Jokic. The offense clearly runs through him. Your best bet for a mid-range triple-double this evening at only 8,700. I like the fact that his price still isn't over 9K. Not many players averaging a double-double are in this price range with the 50 to 60 point upside that he brings with him. I'm going to plug Jokic into the center spot. And then, looking at who we want, it's going to be Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins or Anthony Davis, chat. Which one do you like? I personally like Boogie Cousins a little bit more. More assertive player. Minutes are just ridiculous recently. Rebounds have been off the charts. Scoring is outstanding. I'm not expecting a 10 steal block game from him again. This is going to be an outlier, so ignore that. But as efficient as he's been with fantasy scoring, look at how inefficient he's been from the floor. Shooting 47% on the year. In his last 3 games, shooting under 40% from the floor and still getting it done with over 60 fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games. He had this stretch a couple of weeks ago where he wasn't doing as well. Getting around 40 points a night from me, 40 minutes a night from me is outstanding. 55 points per game on the season. Short slate, you want to have the studs. I know that some people are going to lean towards Anthony Davis. I'm going to take comfort and find shelter in DeMarcus Cousins tonight, and that's where I want to pay up. So that's going to do it. Short slate, kind of a shorter video, but that's the way it goes on a 4-game slate. This is what we got. Dennis Smith Jr., Yogi FERRELL, Dwight Powell looking for the Mavs for value this evening, unless something else opens up. Nikola Jokic and DeMarcus Cousins going with Boogie, trying to get a little bit of dance on by the end of this slate. So if you're still watching on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let us know how you think we're doing. Let me know what your top 3 values are on the day. And let's talk about which stud you want to build around, Anthony Davis or Boogie Cousins. Which direction are you leaning? Thanks a lot for being here. Click that subscribe button and smash the like button before you get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday for another episode of the NBA First Look. Bye, guys.